is I didn't want to teach my kid to respect boundaries. I wanted to teach my kid to want to respect boundaries. And it's slightly different because the want to arises from the respecting boundaries is a behavior, but wanting to arises from the relationship, arises from empathy and compassion, arises from our awareness of each other's human experience and our genuine care for that human experience and for our impact on each other.
Wow.
And those are the things that I focused on in how to teach boundaries. So I wasn't teaching this is what you should do and this is what you should say. It was the conditions that led to the desire. And I think in our house, because of that, and in a lot of the families that are following this kind of philosophy, that this spontaneous desire to care for each other's experience it arises and is important to each individual. Like, it's important to me that my kid has the amount of alone time she needs, that my wife has the kind of space that she needs. It hasn't always been. I'll tell you, I've been married we just had our 27th year anniversary, and there were a lot of years that went by where I thought my way of doing things was the right way, and anyone who wasn't doing it that way was wrong, and everybody had to listen to me. Thank you. and then slowly, but it's happened. I've realized that I get more of what I want by opening myself to other people's realities and really caring about them. Yeah.
Oh, there's so much there in your distinction. Like when you first said that, I felt like waves of something going through me, something really powerful and loving in what you said. I just thinking of a family I see regularly and help, and they know they're smart people. They're like gifted. Yeah. Everyone's a genius in this family.
Right.
They know they're crossing each other's boundaries. They know how not to do that. They know how they want the other person to not do it. But there isn't this care. Yeah. There's a wounding sometimes too, where you hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt you back.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so curious, like, how do you cultivate that desire to care about another's boundaries? Because it's not rocket science to realize you've crossed the boundary. They get mad, they tell you, they lecture you, and then you do it again, right? So how do we back up and cultivate that desire to care?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it has to do with the patterns that were set in our consciousness in early life. Excuse me. Yeah, because one of the things that kids go through a lot is their boundaries aren't respected in so many ways. And not only big ways, but little ways, moment after moment. Like if a kid says, I want the red cup, not the blue cup, and we give them the blue cup. I use red cup, blue cup a lot. Or if a kid says, I want a cookie, and you say, not till after dinner. And we have all sorts of ways that, from the child's experience, they're saying, this is my boundary, this is my desire, this is where I am, and the parent is saying, no. I say kids live in an ocean of no. And because of that, we get it in our systems that this isn't something to pay attention to. This isn't something that's going to be respected. And either, I say that kids' response to coercion there's three responses. There's resistance, compliance, and distance. But all three of those aren't like genuine relating, knowing ourselves, caring about that, knowing the other person, caring about that, and finding a way for those things to merge. And so as adults, I find one of the first things to do is go back to that child inside and say, hey, your boundaries are worthwhile, kiddo. I talk to him, I put my hands like this, and I look into little Vivek's eyes all the time. And I look and I say, Vivek, your boundaries are valid, kiddo. They weren't listened to when I was you, but now I'm here for you. And I talk to little Vivek and I say, I'm here for you, and I'm gonna protect you, and I'm listening. I'm really, really listening, because you're really valid, little guy. You're really, really valid. Yeah. And the more that shakes loose, the more that the layers and layers and layers and layers of no get loosened up, and I start to believe it. It takes a little time, but when I start to really believe it, then I start to relax a little bit. I trust that I am going to care for my boundaries, because I don't trust that I care for my boundaries, never mind my partner. I don't trust that I care for them. That's why I fight. That's why I get tense. But when I know that I can trust them, then I can relax a bit more. I can open a bit more. And then that natural sense of how are my choices impacting the system, the family system, that becomes really important to me, because I'm not in that protective state as much. I won't say anymore, because it's a lifelong journey, but not as much. Yeah.
Damn, you just drop a lot of wisdom, like really, bam. And I just, there's so much there I want to tease apart, like boundaries, respecting my limits, but also you mentioned respecting desire. I want that cookie. How do you navigate as a loving parent, a gentle parent, saying no to certain desires? Do you draw any lines as a parent, as an authority? I'm thinking when your daughter was younger, right? I have a 8-year-old daughter. We try to empower her to make choices all the time, but there are certain times where we have to draw the line. And I wonder how you navigate that as on the other side.
Yeah, for sure.